So today we're going to be talking about snakes and why are we afraid of snakes? What's the deal with snakes? And I'm going somewhere with this because I think you're going to be shocked as to what I came across today. So we're going to go a little bit all over the place. We're going to go into the Old Testament. We're going to go into the New Testament. We're going to go way back to the Garden of Eden. And then we're going to talk about Charlie Kirk and his assassination. And I don't think you want to miss this. Welcome to Revelation Underground.
Welcome to the stage, it's the tale untold. Shame, the black swan breaking the mold. In a world of chaos, he rises from the fray. With wings spread wide, he's here to slay. Dark shadows lurking, but he won't back down. Black swan revelations, moments alive. Chains break barriers, watch and thrive. In this kingdom of dreams, we're brave there to fly. The black swan's the limit, reach up to the sky. From the ashes he soared, a phoenix reborn. With beats in his heart, he's ready for war. Lyrics like daggers, sharp on the tongue. In the game for the throne, where legends are hung. Echoes of truth ringing loud and clear. Black swan revelations, moments alive. Chains breaking barriers, watching thrive. In this kingdom of dreams, we're the brave dare to fly. The black swan's the limit, reach up to the sky. So welcome to the show. Let the good times roll. With Shane as the black swan, we're free, we're whole.
Nice. Welcome to Black Swan Revelations. This is my channel, and tonight we're going underground. We're going deep. And my camera, my other camera, which I tried setting up here, just crashed on me. Let me see if I can get it going again. Come on, Betsy. Come back to life. There it is. All right. It's back. There it is. Here's my other camera. So you'll notice I have these little ornaments here. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. It's kind of a fascinating saying if you think about it. It covers everything from how to conduct yourself in life. And it also talks about not turning a blind eye towards wickedness. Not turning a blind eye towards wickedness. So today we're gonna have another look at Charlie Kirk's assassination. We're not gonna see blood and gore and all that kind of stuff, but I wanted to look at it from a different perspective. But in order for me to do that, I have to kind of go back. I have to go back in time a little bit. Have you ever asked yourself the question, why are we afraid of snakes? You ever thought about that? For me, snakes give me the EBGBs. It doesn't matter if I know that a snake will not kill me by biting me, gumming me to death. I just, for some reason, the idea of picking up a snake, even if I'm trying to pretend I'm brave, I've picked up a lot of snakes in my lifetime. But the unpredictable nature of a snake, when you pick it up and it coils up and everything, I just go, yeah. I get the shivers. I almost get goose pimples right now just talking about it. I've often wondered, like, out of all the creatures on the planet, it's like our body is designed to detect snakes. And I think this is one of the main reasons why we see color. We could be talking to a friend and all of a sudden you're just looking around and you see something blow on the ground and you're like, oh, it's just a stick. It's not a serpent. It's not a snake. I find that even sometimes when I'm driving down the road. I'll be minding my own business, listening to music, and all of a sudden I'll see something out of my peripheral vision, something moving along the road, and I look, and it's just like it's a piece of rope or a piece of cord or a stick. But my mind right away it's almost like instinctively we are on the lookout for snakes, for serpents. It's bizarre. There's been studies where if you take a chimpanzee, and I think I got this from a presentation that Jordan Peterson did on a presentation of a lady that she studied the human eye, that she did basically a research project where she took a bunch of chimpanzees and put photographs in front of them. And you can put a cat, you can put a puppy, you can put a tree, whatever it is. And the chimpanzee almost would be like, it's almost like you lose the interest of the chimpanzee. But then the lady would flip up a snake and all of a sudden the thing's like, whoop, 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 start freaking out. So it's like instinct for these primates, these monkeys, to keep watch. And I think a lot of it has to do with because they're in the jungles, they're going from tree to tree. You'd hate to grab onto a branch and it's actually a snake, and you just get, your whole family can get swallowed up. But for us, we're like in a city. Like if you go to a zoo, yeah, you see snakes there and you're safe because they're behind some glass. You don't worry about it too much. But why did God make us in a way that we just detect snakes? Like we just pick them out. And I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but if you go back to the Garden of Eden, it's interesting that we get a snake, a serpent, which was, I believe, inhabited by the devil himself, that ancient serpent, walking on 2 feet, and Eve having a conversation with this ancient serpent. And the first thing the serpent says, did God really say? And there is no pretense, from what I read, in the story of the Garden of Eden, as in there's no nervousness. It was almost like they were kind of used to this, whatever this being looked like. I just think of it as a huge serpent, a huge snake that had feet and had limbs and everything. Because scientists today have discovered, I think it's called a hedgehog gene, I believe it is, where it's actually switched off, meaning if you switched the hedgehog gene, serpents, snakes, I should say, would grow limbs. But it's turned off, so they can't grow limbs. They just crawl on their belly all the days of their life. And it's fascinating that if you think about our eyes, we see in color. Or a little bit different than most creatures. We can see movement. We can detect things. We can see color. And I think this goes all the way back to being betrayed by that ancient serpent, the devil. I think something happened to us that once we took of the fruit of the knowledge of the tree of good and evil, our eyes were open. It's almost like now our antennas are up. Now we're aware that we can be harmed for the first time, that we can be swindled, that we can be hurt. All kinds of emotions have now entered into our system. Hunger pains, everything. So I find that interesting. Then you see a gentleman by the name of Jacob show up. And I think a lot of people get this guy wrong. Anytime you hear the name Jacob, people always say, oh, he's a liar. He's a deceiver. And that's how they present him. They say it's kind of weird that God liked Jacob because he's a deceiver and all this kind of stuff. I don't understand how he can love Jacob when he lies constantly and he's a deceiver and all this kind of stuff. When I think you would be hard pressed to find Jacob say a lie other than trying to get a birthright and trying to get basically an inheritance from his father. So the one thing that he did do was he pretended to be someone else. And I think this is where we put all our stock into that one event and say he was just a walking liar his entire life. But Jacob doesn't mean liar. Jacob means supplanter. Go ahead, go check it out. What does that mean, supplanter? Well, it means it's almost like if you go out into a field. Have you ever run across a farmer where he's looking at something and he's got a piece of straw in his mouth and he's just looking at it? And he's just staring. He's just looking out into the field and he's just looking. He's just staring. He's thinking. He's got his little piece of straw. It's like, I got it. I know that's an American accent, Southerner accent, but it's like, I got it, Martha. I got it figured out. Because he sat there and he thought about it a bit. And he figured out how to either fix the combine, how to fix maybe the tractor that broke down or something else. He figured it out, sat there and thought about it. And I think Jacob was like this. He would sit back and he would look at something and go, I wonder if there's a better way of doing this. That's what a supplanter is. Basically, you have something that is made and you look at it from every single angle. You redesign it, you make it a little bit better, and you give it a bit of an upgrade. And I think that's what Jacob was like, because when he was working for Laban said after so many years or after so much time, he's like, just name your price, name your wages, and I'll pay you whatever. And Jacob said, how about this? How about you give me all the ring-streaked and striped animals, sheep, goats? I'll take those. You can have everything else. And I think in Laban's mind, in his head, he's thinking, mathematically, it's actually easier. Like I'll make more. I'll have more animals that are not ring-streaked or striped. I'll have way more animals. So then we see Jacob says, okay, you agree to the wages here. So what he does is he builds a trough. And I've always sat there and I'm looking at this story and I'm like, this is kind of a bit of an enigma, this story. He builds this straw or this trough, and he puts wood in it, almost like little sticks, logs, and that kind of stuff in there. And I believe what he's doing he's actually almost gene splicing, as in he's looking at the sheep and the goats that are strong, and he makes an obstacle in their way so that they have to go through these sticks in order to get to the other side, in order to mate with the female that's on the other side. And if the trough is low, or if it's not there, then any sheep, any goat can go there, period. But he made a bunch of logs, wood. Not sure exactly what it looks like, but it almost looks like you have a trough and you put a bunch of wood in there, and the ones that are brave and maybe desperate for a little bit of action, they will fight their way through these sticks by jumping through them or over them to get to the other side where the female is. So they're stronger. And then they would have baby sheep, baby goats, and then he would keep those ones to the side. And anytime he saw one that had a little bit of potential, he put these obstacles in the way, and they would have to struggle or wrestle through it to get to the other side. And the ones that were weak, he's like, okay, I'm going to put this over here. And God was making all those strong ones ring streaked and striped. And then, because their genetics were much better, because they weren't sick, they weren't weak, they had more sheep, more goats. And then Laban's like, hey, that's not right. Look at all this stuff. I'm gonna take the ring streaked ones and the striped ones. You can have the other kind. So then Jacob's looking around and is like, okay, I'll take these ones. Every time I see the ones that are not ring streaked or striped and they look a little bit strong, I'm going to do the same thing to them. So he supplanted Laban's flocks, and his wives knew it. They're like, there's nothing left from our father. Basically, it's all here. So let's go with Jacob. And Laban got mad at him. So then we get to Joseph. Jacob really loved Joseph. And we read the story. And you know what? Let's go to the story, because I'm going somewhere with this. So you got to build it up. You got to build it up a little bit. I think it's in Genesis 32, I think. Let's see here. Let me just scroll down. Let's just go. Let me go to Bible Gateway. And let's just have a look. Let's find it here. Let me go. This is the angel 33, maybe. Handmaids, Leah after all this. Okay, that's not it there. 34. All right. I should have looked this up earlier. It's in my head, but I think Bethel, Jacob, but your name will be called Israel. I want to get to, might be like Genesis 40. Esau. Oh, we're getting closer. All the dukes, duke this, duke that, duke this. All right, here we go. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. Notice the brothers, the brothers that aren't mentioned are Leah's brothers, or Leah's children, and Rachel, because obviously Rachel has Benjamin, but they have handmaids as well. But these are the handmaids, I believe, of it's these are the children of these handmaids, Bilhah and Zilpah. They're not the sons of Leah, is what I was trying to say, because she had 6 sons. 2 sons were also given to Jacob from Bilhah, 2 from Zilpah, and then 2 from Rachel. So that gives you 12 altogether. But these sons actually were wandering to an area that wasn't their own territory. Now, Israel loved Joseph more than all his children because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. Now we look at this and we go, oh yeah, okay. That's cool, Shane. Nothing to see here. It's just a coat of many colors. It's just blue, red, green, all this kind of stuff. But wouldn't it be interesting if Jacob, the supplanter, actually invented something for Joseph, little old Joseph? What was that invention? Well, he gave him a coat of many colors. And if you look it up in Hebrew, which I will not do now, but if you know Hebrew, I do not, but if you look it up, it's basically a long-sleeved and a long-legged piece of material. Almost like head to toe, coat of many colors. Camouflage. What? Yes, camouflage. Because he would have Joseph be a spy to spy on his brothers that were up to no good. So he designed an outfit that could blend in their area that they were in. And we know this if, like, it's fall. We're approaching fall. Hunters, when they go out into the woods, if they don't want to be detected, they wear camo gear. Just all it is basically is it just breaks up the pattern of the trees, the forest, wherever they are, the ground. So if it's all green, they'll wear green camouflage. If they're in a wooded area, they'll wear wooded camouflage, and animals can't see them, especially bow hunters. They'll do this, and they'll go in a blind. And they'll have the blind over top of them, and it's basically broken up patterns, and animals will walk right by. They don't even notice them. Even bears will walk right by these hunters. So Joseph, I believe, created a coat of many colors to blend into his surroundings so that he could spy on his brothers. How do we know this? Well, he shows up and he kind of looks a little bit lost, and the man asks him, who's he looking for? And he says, well, I'm looking for where my brothers are. And the guy said, I think I heard them say they're going to Dothan, which is a different region, which is, I believe, in the area of Shechem, where I think they caused trouble before. Remember Dinah, one of Joseph's half-sisters? She basically was, I don't want to say she was raped, but the brothers felt insulted because a Canaanite fell in love with one of Joseph's sisters, one of their sisters, and basically slept with her. So then they came up with a scheme saying that if you circumcise yourselves, then we will blend in and we will give you our wives. We can have your wives, we'll everything. And they thought, this is a great idea. Let's do this. Let's circumcise every male. And then Reuben and I believe it was Reuben and Simeon went in and murdered every male, killed them all. So the brothers are moving to a different area. So if you know anything about camouflage, if you are using camo for a wooded area and you go out into the grass, you're going to be seen. It's not going to work. Or if you use a summer type camouflage and you go into the snow, you're going to be seen by everyone, and vice versa. You don't wear winter camouflage in the summer and you don't wear summer camouflage in the winter. And depending on the terrain that you're in, that's the camo that you use. And Joseph was now out of his district because they were supposed to shepherd their sheep and their goats, their flocks in an area. And he wandered off of that area. Now his brothers could see him coming with his camouflage in the wrong district. And now he stands out like a sore thumb. And they're like, here comes that dreamer. Let's see what becomes of his dreams. And they tossed him in a well, and Judah tried to rescue him. All this kind of stuff. We kind of know the rest. But it's interesting that Jacob created a coat of many colors. And this is important because if we go to Acts 27, Acts 27, I think it's Acts 27. Yeah, let's go to Acts 27 here. Right. Acts 27. Let's scroll down. So basically, Paul is in trouble on a ship. They're in the process of getting shipwrecked. Let's see. 14 nights coming. We were driven up and down in Adria. About midnight, the shipmen deemed they drew near to some country and sounded. So they were putting ropes over with sometimes they would tie metal or rocks or whatever, and then they would sound it out to basically what they're doing is they're measuring how deep the water is, and they found it to be 20 fathoms. And then when they found they gone a little further, they sounded again and found it to be 15 fathoms, meaning they're getting close to shore. They're gonna crash. So then, fearing lest we, and this is according to Luke, we should have fallen upon the rocks, they cast 4 anchors out of the stern and wished for the day. And as the shipmen were about to flee out of the ship, when they had let down the boat into the sea under color, as though they would have cast anchors out of the foreship. So they were pretending that they were letting anchors out, because the ship was getting smashed to pieces, and they did it under color. So when we use the English word color in this, it means deceptively. It means they were doing it subtly under the color of darkness, under the camouflage of darkness. They thought maybe nobody could see them. Granted, I don't think Paul saw them, because remember, his eyesight was I would suggest it was almost non-existent by this time. He'd been beaten so badly that I think his eyes got affected, plus reading late at night, writing, all this kind of stuff. I think it just wore out his eyes. So he went to the centurion and he said, unless everyone stays on the ship, no one's going to be saved. And I don't think Paul saw these guys. I think he just said it to the centurion, and then they figured it out that these guys were trying to cut themselves loose. They wanted to take these little boats and take off to shore. And Paul said, unless everyone stays on the ship, nobody's going to make it. So then they cut the ships loose, and then they ran aground, and they got stuck. They got stuck to a point where basically what was happening to them was they were stuck in a wedge on the island, and the back end was getting pounded by the waves, getting smashed. So they're literally getting ripped in half. And then they all jumped over. The centurion said, anyone that could swim, swim for it. And he looked after Paul. He made sure that Paul got to shore, and that's another hint that Paul's eyesight wasn't the greatest. But we get introduced to the idea that color is also another, we're playing off the word that these guys were doing it under the color of darkness, under the camouflage of darkness. So again, if you look up the word color, it means deceiving, it means putting up a false front. And if you're a hunter, that's what you do. You basically put up a false front so that the animals can't see you. And that's what's going on here. So why, Shane, I get it now. Why are you bringing up all this stuff? Why are you talking like these? Why you talk like this? Well, it's because I came across some footage that I find interesting about Charlie Kirk. And I'm going to play it. This is a different perspective from a guy on a YouTube channel. And I'm not saying this is the gospel, as in this guy is 100% right, but it's something that I never thought about. Something that I never thought about, and it's really conspiracy type, okay? But this is why you guys come to Revelation Underground, is to look at this stuff, right? We look at it from every single angle. So I am going to show you this video clip. So pause for station identification. Let me just cue it up real quick here. I think this will be of interest to you. And a lady sent this to me, emailed it to me, and I thought this would be good to show it. Okay, so we're gonna watch this, and I think this is. I think this will be interesting. So Charlie Kirk, the hologram. So let's just listen to what this guy says, and then we'll come back. We'll play it.
Everyone, I know a lot of you have watched a few minutes.
Can you guys hear that? Let me just see if you guys can hear it in the comments. Can you hear this video? Because I think, let me just see here. For some reason, let me just adjust it. Let me just see here what's going on with my audio. It feels like it's not coming through my headset. So let me just see. I'm asking the question in the audience if you can hear this video play.
So this video, when I posted it the first time and then I deleted it, even though it had 24,000 views, I didn't want to delete it, but I don't care about the views. That's not me. I don't care about the views. Okay, so now I'm going to do it the right way. Okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of things that I didn't add to the video I should have. I tried to rush it, do it quickly, just got off of work, was tired, but guess what? I'm here to redo it, okay? So this is the redo. This is the re-upload, whatever you want to call it. Now, let me say this in the beginning, okay? This is my theory. This is not disinformation. This is not a lie. This is not me trying to trick you. This is what I believe. This is my idea. That's what a theory is, an idea of how something happened. Doesn't mean I'm lying to you or trying to give you disinformation, okay? So let's get that straight from the beginning. Okay, now let's move on with it. Now, I'm sure all of you have noticed online, a lot of people are talking about, why are these people allowed to be in this canopy? Why isn't this marked off and taped off as a crime scene? And why is this guy in the white shirt taking the most very important camera down? what you think is the most very important camera there. Why is he taking it down? Well, here's why. Because it's not a crime scene. A crime didn't take place here, and that's not a camera. Now, before I tell you what it is, I want you to get a real good look at it as he's taking it down. Anybody figure out what it is yet? Okay, here's what it is. It's called a hologram projector. And if you don't believe me, you can go look them up online. And they're not cheap. They're not cheap. Usually 20 to 60, 70, $80,000 for these things. And they come in different varieties. Now, Hollywood calls them hologram stage projectors. Now, you see how Charlie's little tent there is a perfect square? And as you can tell, it's 10 foot square, 10 foot all the way around on each square. And it's about 9 foot tall. That's because it has to be for the projection to work. Now, let's explain.
For smaller spaces, the projectors can be configured with mirrors to elongate the projection path and maintain picture integrity. Eyeliner displays ideally require a minimum footprint of 10 feet square and a height of 9 feet to show full-size human figures. What you are seeing is a reflected image which is so true and realistic to the original, it has become known as a virtual image. Many people perceive what they are seeing now as a 3D hologram. In fact, it is a 21st century take on a mid-19th century visual effect known as Pepper's Ghost, showing now on the relay screens. Thanks in part to the amazing optical properties of the eyeliner foil combined with the light and picture output of Christie Digital high-definition projectors, the image has depth and opacity that actually supersedes the scale and definition of traditional 3D hologram.
Like I said before, 10 foot squared, 9 foot tall. This canopy was made this size for a purpose because it is a hologram stage.
I have to pause it for a sec because if this has any bit of truth, like even 10%, this changes everything. And I know, like, I think we have to approach everything. We have to approach every type of conspiracy under the planet, under the rock, under everything. We got to turn everything over. And this is something that I never considered. And when Candace Owens was talking about trapdoors underneath, talking about that there could be a network underneath and, you know, for irrigation purposes, all this kind of stuff. And she said when she saw the footage, she said that there was no blood. And I'm like, something's not right with that, because they grabbed an SD card and it looks like a camera to me. It looks like a camera to me. He showed the projector and I'm like, it doesn't look like a projector, but I'm willing to entertain the thought process of what this guy is presenting, because again, I want to look at it from every angle. And this is something that I never thought about, but I wouldn't put it past the FBI, people that work for principalities, powers, rulers of the air, to do something like this, to deceive us. I don't know. I can't quite figure it out, but let's go back to the video. This is interesting. It gets even more interesting.
Projection that you guys were watching. Now, don't get me wrong, there are different types of holograms, okay? I'm just showing you one from like 7 years ago, the technology 7 years ago. Now, let me show you some different technology on bigger stages. Now, I'm going to skip through a lot of this video due to copyright infringement.
And I get it. Believe me, guys, I get it, because I wasn't there. People have seen it, but all we've been shown is blurred footage. That's all we've been shown is blurred footage. So the question, if this is, again, we got to watch the whole thing, because there's some interesting stuff that that actually happen right in front of our eyes, that I think if you watch it, your jaw will drop and you'll be like, no way, no way, no way. And that's what I did. I was like, there's no way that I'm watching what I'm watching in front of me, that this is what happened. But yet it's right there in front of you. Let's continue.
And also, I don't want this video to be 30 minutes long. I just want to get to the point. I want you to understand how this can be done, okay? If you want to watch the full version of these hologram videos, I'll leave the links in the comments so you don't think you're being deceived, okay? Now let's move on.
These performers are holograms. Every series, we take one step closer to achieving all of the sci-fi dreams.
It's pretty cool. You'll never have to miss a gig again. The gig can come to you.
We traveled to Paris to meet Ian O'Connell, director of the company that put this show on.
I recall we've been asked to produce a show from London to Florida, where the interactions between the musicians and the audience would be as natural as two people being in the same room. And for all of us, it was an experience that we'll never forget.
So how do they beam this band in live?
It's incredible that this really is a remote live gig. The signal from London takes less than a third of a second to go all the way around the world and be projected as a hologram on the stage in the US. As well as the hologram making it feel like the band are actually in the room with the audience, the band can see the audience and actually interact and respond to what they're doing.
This is a whole new take on live music. But how are the images so good that it looks like the band are really on stage?
They look so lifelike because of the angle of the light and the reflective material called mylar that creates this holographic effect.
The mylar screen is semi-transparent. The reflective surface reflects the images when the light falls on it, but when the light doesn't fall on it, the audience can see through it. So it looks like there's a person standing on stage and then there's no screen at all.
The projector receives the video signal and projects it down from the ceiling.
What I really love about this is that you get the effect of a 3D hologram without those stupid glasses.
I still believe we've only scratched the surface with this technology. I think we will see pop-up holograms everywhere.
That's it. The holograms are here. We're officially in the future.
Now, let me show you how good Hollywood's hologram projection stages can pull this off and make you think you're watching somebody who's there who's not really there.
I love being together, although, are we really together? Are we all together in this room?
Are we? I feel like we're connected in some way, but maybe.
For anyone watching, can you guess which one of us isn't really here?
Welcome.
And if you guys want to know how that awesome groundbreaking technology works, just go to our website at truebarrymore.com.
It's all smoke and mirrors. The world is a stage, people. Get over it. You've been lied to. Now, I know a lot of you will say, well, Terry, if it was a hologram, how was he walking around passing out hats and talking to people? Because he was walking around passing out hats and talking to people. Only the assassination was a hologram. Here's what you're forgetting. You're forgetting about the trap door right by his feet, underneath that little canopy there.
Boss, this is the place he got shot.
This is the courtyard where it all happened. It is now open to the public again. There's lots of people coming here with flowers, cars, things like that. The university is already making some changes. They're replacing the grass where Charlie Kirk was speaking with pavers. And there are several petitions online asking the school to make this into a permanent memorial for Charlie Kirk.
You see, the trap door is the whole key. Yes, Charlie was passing out hats. Yes, Charlie was there. But when it's time for the hologram to come on, this is when Charlie...
This is where it gets weird. it was always bizarre to me that they took Charlie Kirk and put him into an SUV right away. They took his body right away, and they didn't work on him to try and revive him right there. And I understand people are like, they're trying to get him to the hospital as quick as you can. But there was no blood going to the SUV on the ground, as far as I know, unless somebody can show me some footage where you actually see droplets of blood all the way to the SUV. Because, again, we have eyewitnesses that say, shot in the neck, fell to his left. They all said the same thing. They all networks had the same script. Got shot, fell to the left. Got shot, depending, like whoever you talk to, they all said the same script. They didn't even vary it. And they removed his body right away. And Candace said there was no blood from the back. You'd think you'd be seeing blood squirting out from the backside if he got shot, even if it, like some people have said, he's been shot from above. Some people said close range. You're going to see blood coming out. And we don't have footage from the audience yet. Different angles. We all see the same shaky, jittery kind of stuff. And then it's always, his face is always blurred out. I'm like, something isn't adding up yet. It's not adding up yet. And why did they cover this whole place up right away? Like they were paving over that whole area right away. Maybe if there was blood there, maybe they decided to just paint over it. It's weird because I feel like you're getting rid of all the evidence right away. Like it should be a crime scene. You rope that whole place off. You don't allow people to come in and grab SD cards. Nothing. You don't go in there, period. I don't care if you're his parent. You don't touch anything. Cell phones, nada. Nothing. Microphones that are on the ground, earpieces. You do not touch anything. This is a crime scene. And same thing happened when Trump got shot. They washed the blood off the roof within hours. Like the next day or something. And I'm like, that's a crime scene. Why are you washing it away? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. All right, let's continue.
Went down into this little utility room or whatever this is underneath this trap door, the stage area where he was sitting. Okay, the assassination took place with the hologram. And then if you notice, all the guys, when he supposedly falls to the ground, all the security guys surround him. You can't see nothing. They raise the trap door up and Charlie comes out. That's why they blur the videos so you can't see him come out. And then they pack him to the SUV. Not an ambulance, not anything like it would normally be, to the SUV without a trail of blood anywhere because he never got shot. He was down in there the whole time. The hologram part of the assassination was taking place. It's really, really simple. It's complicated, but it's simple.
This is a lot to take in because I'm a conspiracy guy. I like conspiracies as the best, but man, again, if this is true, it was just so weird. Like this guy pushing every back, and you don't really see him being picked up, and they blur it. I'm like, if you're going to perform the greatest hoax on the planet, you're going to do exactly what they did. We don't get footage, complete footage from start to finish. Here's Charlie. Here's him going down. Let's watch it. Let's watch the guys hover around him. Let's watch him go out. Unless I see that. But right now I get jump cuts. It's like a little mini movie. It's like they only show us what they want you to see. I don't know. And even this guy, like back, like it feels like they're all acting. I can't put my finger on it. Even Erica a little bit. When I watched her presentation, man, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope she's a beautiful Christian lady, innocent and all this kind of stuff. But when I watched her speech again in front of Charlie Kirk's chair, I'm like, man, I feel like, and it sounds harsh, right? But I feel like it was an act. My gut feeling feels like it was an act. But I'm open to people proving me wrong and saying, Shane, no. She was legit. She had tears in her eyes. But the way that she spoke, she would smile, she would frown, she'd be happy, and then sad. And I'm like, feels like she's an actor. And I say actor because it's gender neutral. When you say actor, you could be referring to male, female. I know they use actress, but technically it should be actor means both. You're a good actor. You could be a male or a female that is a good actor. It's a side note. It feels fake. It feels fake. I can't shake it. Let's continue.
If you think about it common sensely, that's how Charlie was able to interact with the people there, because he could hear what they were saying and he could answer them and interact with them just like the musicians from London to Florida.
It's incredible that this really is a remote live gig. The signal from London takes less than a third of a second to go all the way around the world and be projected as a hologram on the stage in the US. As well as the hologram making it feel like the band are actually in the room with the audience, the band can see the audience and actually interact.
Now here's the thing. We still haven't figured out the motive. And we have to watch this video to the end. There's only like another 5 minutes. We haven't figured out why. What happened to Charlie? So did he actually get killed? What happened? What did people actually see? There's so many questions here. We see it as real because we weren't there. Now the people there, those are the ones that you want to look at and go, what did you see? I saw blood everywhere. In fact, blood was on me because they went right by me. That's what I want to see. I want to see those videos where people are like, there was so much blood. But instead, it kind of feels like we're getting people that are kind of either a part of the organization somehow, and we're not getting access to all these cameras. Like there was like hundreds, if not, there's like, what was there, like 3,000 people there? Everybody looked like they were filming, and yet we keep getting these blurred. And it's easy to doctor stuff later with all these software applications that you can use now. You can make anything look like anything now. But when it's live, it gets a little bit trickier. But we're not watching for any trickery. Nobody is. So the time to do it was when it was live, because then once it's done, now we come back and we get all these little clips and all kinds of, and now you can doctor everything. Like you'd almost have to go back to watching it live, and I never watched it live. Maybe that's something that I should do, is go back and watch an actual live feed, just like we did with Trump, where everybody's hovering all over Trump. Like that even looked fake. And then he gets up and he's got blood in his ear. And I'm not denying that something happened to his ear, but the way that they were like crowding around him, I was like, man, you guys should have removed him. And they didn't. They didn't remove, and nobody ran. Whereas here, at least people are running for their lives. It just, why does it smell fishy? Why can't we just look at it and go, done, case closed? This is so crystal clear. He got shot. He got murdered. We found the guy, 22 years old, with a 30-06 sniper, one shot. and is running off the roof right away. Like, every angle smells fishy. Every angle. Yeah, and I don't think they squirted ketchup on Trump's ear. I think that's kind of like, I think you can actually use Hollywood blood, if you will, like on sets, they, you know, and they pretend they got shot, they squeeze it and then blood comes. I know that's probably what you mean. They're not using ketchup like Heinz ketchup and squirt, because you'd smell it. You'd be like, oh, it's kind of yummy. Ketchup kind of smells yummy, but not in that case. So I get what you're saying, but it is highly probable that Trump could have went down, squirted. I grew up on pro wrestling, man. I grew up on pro wrestling. The move that Trump did is exactly what Hulk Hogan used to do when somebody would smash him over the head with a chair. He'd go down and all of a sudden he'd take a razor blade and he'd go and he'd get up and he'd be bleeding. And then grandmothers in the front row would be like, he killed him. He hit him with a chair. Look, he's bleeding. Not realizing that Hulk Hogan pulled a razor blade out of his wristband and then started cutting his forehead. So what Donald Trump has been known to hang out with Vince McMahon and wrestlers year after year. Think of Trump Plaza. WrestleMania 4, 5, 6, all at Trump Plaza. Trump was known to go into the wrestling ring and punching people and choking people, knocking people down outside the ring. So it wouldn't be far-fetched to say that Trump did something like that. Now, I'm probably gonna get a lot of haters. People are like, no, he absolutely got shot. It's just kind of, it wouldn't be hard to do. It wouldn't be hard to do because we couldn't see what he was doing. He just ducked down and then all of a sudden he gets up and fight, and nobody's running. So it's kind of weird. So I'll just put that on the shelf. But he does have a lot of ties with WWE, and they do fake stuff all the time with blood. All the time. In front of a live audience. All right, so let's go back to this. This is why you guys come to Revelation Underground. We go crazy every
And
once in a while.
respond to what they're doing.
Now, I already know what you're going to say. All y'all non-believers going to say, well, if he was passing out hats and doing all that, how could he disappear and go underground into that trap door in basically the little maintenance area that goes underground, which means your ass can go under there. Very simple. You know what I'm saying? How did he do that without anybody seeing him do it? Well, have you ever heard of an invisible cloak? Maybe that whole tent had an invisible cloak around it. Are you familiar with that? Probably not. Doesn't mean you're stupid. Doesn't mean you're dumb. Just means you are illiterate to the technology. Now let me show you.
Wow. Look at that. You could literally hide somebody behind that plexiglass. You'd never know it. Look at this thing. My goodness. Technology now that we have. Look at that. You don't think if you paid millions of dollars to have someone set this up that they couldn't hide things in plain sight? Look at that. Man, and if you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. Like if that guy stood there with that blanket and I walked by, I probably wouldn't notice him because I'm not expecting a guy to be hiding behind a curtain. It's crazy. Look at this. Now you can see a little bit of the shadow behind, but I would expect that.
And see
basically 90% of him is gone.
As soon as you take out of the bag, you can see, you can make yourself invisible behind this clock very easily. Just use it.
Look at that.
It's a little bit of windy right now and very hard to use it because it's flowing, but let's try again and see whether I can use it. Yeah.
You wouldn't even know. If someone was lying out in the field with one of those blankets, you'd never even know it.
You can make yourself invisible.
Now you can get on here and make all the videos about me being a liar and giving you disinformation all you want to. But I showed you what I showed you. That's my theory. What's a theory? It's an idea. It's something could happen. Doesn't mean it's a fact. It's just my theory, okay? So don't get on here and say I'm a liar. I'm giving you disinformation. I'm giving you what I believe because I understand the technology that we have, okay? All you're doing is showing the real shield that you truly are. That's all you're doing. You're showing that you're a bot, a troll, a shield. That's all you're doing, making yourself look bad. And the only people that believe you is the dumb bots. What's a dumb bot? It means a human who halfway awake, but they will consider and believe whatever you tell them, whatever makes sense to them, because they don't understand technology. They don't understand what's going on. So they choose to believe one scenario, one theory. That's all that is. That's why you seen the chair
Look at this.
through the table, because they was still in the hologram area. They hadn't shut it off yet. And they was doing this by remote.
See that chair? It just appears.
Now you could talk all
Look at that
this
chair.
information, lying, bullcrap all you want to, but I'm gonna stand behind my theory, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, don't watch it.
Chair
And if you
just
comment and make some
magically
stupid
goes back up.
comments, I'm gonna delete you. I'm gonna block you. You know why? Because it's my channel. Get over it. Everyone, thanks for watching.
Look at that.
Have a good night.
Goes right through the
and
floor.
God bless.
Isn't that crazy? Let me just back it up.
Like it, don't watch it.
Look at this. Watch that chair
Now
just
you
all
could-
of a sudden
because
show
they
up.
was still in the hologram area. They hadn't shut it off yet. And they was doing this by remote. Now you could talk all that disinformation, lying, bullcrap all you want to, but I'm gonna stand behind my theory, whether you like it or not. If you don't like it, don't watch it. And if you comment and make some stupid comments, I'm gonna delete you. I'm gonna block you. You know why? Because it's my channel. Get over
Look
it.
at that chair just goes right
Thanks for watching.
through
Have
the
a good
floor.
night and God bless.
Like an illusion. That's craziness. What do you guys think? You thinking now that we live in a matrix or something? A part of me doesn't want that to be true. And another part of me is going, well, that would make complete sense that they would use a hologram to deceive us because we're not expecting it. I don't know. Like magicians could pull off amazing feats in front of our very eyes. And the Bible talks about a great deception, a great deluge is coming upon the whole world. If you think deluge only means flood, I have another thing to tell you. It doesn't. It means deception. Deluge. That we're easily deceived now. Technology is so advanced now that we're starting to question everything. And I think that's part of it, is to confuse us. Now, I don't know the reason why they would do this. I don't know why they would do this. That part that holds more weight if you could figure that out. Why? Is Charlie Kirk alive? Is he dead? Why would they do it this way? It produces more questions than answers. While I understand and I appreciate the effort to show us something like this, a hologram video, It's good, but it doesn't answer the why. That's the big one. Why would someone go through all this effort to do a fake assassination? Is he going to show up again? Or like I'm like 99% he's gone. He's dead. The only 1% is because we don't get anything from the FBI, and we get more conspiracy videos that make you go, oh, 99, 98, 97, 96. That's kind of how it works. And we're living in that age where technology is so advanced that it wouldn't be hard to clean up this mess and to make it look like it never happened the way that we thought it did. And the history books start getting erased and fudged a bit. And we're like, man, I don't know what truth is anymore. It's getting to that point. And maybe this is why when we're talking about the rapture, that we get a little excited, because eventually it's going to get to the point where we're all deceived. And I think the Lord has to take his church before that happens. Otherwise, who's going to be left? Who's going to be left? So, yeah, and I've heard everything. I've heard that Charlie was offered up as a sacrifice. I'm just going through the book of Leviticus now. All the sacrifices with all the animals and everything, and this could feel a little bit ritualistic in nature, a little bit. And I don't want to disrespect the family, his wife, all this stuff, but man, they sure took off fast, didn't they? Like, I think they were live streaming the next day on the Charlie Kirk show with the empty chair. And I'm like, that's quick. Like, if something happened to my wife and we were doing a broadcast together, I don't know if I would be comfortable doing a live stream the next day after my wife got assassinated, especially as a political figure. I don't think I would be that comfortable with that. And they didn't even blink. I'm talking about Turning Point as an organization. They didn't even blink. They were just rocking and rolling. Their newsletters went out still, asking for money, all kinds of stuff. Like, almost like nothing happened. And then Erica becomes the CEO. And it's like, okay, how much experience does she have? Like, how do you just become a CEO just because you're the wife of Charlie Kirk, and all of a sudden you're on top of the world, and you all of a sudden magically understand everything that it takes to become a CFO, or I think she's a CEO. She's the top. I don't know. It doesn't seem like an easy job to undertake. You're still under duress of your husband getting assassinated in front of the whole world, and days later you're now the CEO. Shouldn't you take a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year off? Some people don't bounce back from this. It was like that for Turning Point. And it was kind of like a celebrity who's who at the funeral. I wasn't sure what to feel at the beginning. I had lots of tears, and then all of a sudden when was it Hegseth? JD Vance shows up, and then Donald Jr. showed up and kind of laughing, ha ha ha. And then Donald Trump shows up, and I was like, are we watching a mega rally? And then Erica comes back on, and this is the thing. Someone sent me, I don't know if one of my loyal followers said that she made a sign like this. And I said, no, that just means love. But when you watch it again, you're like, oh man, that feels like a satanic sign. Like if you do this, this is 666 is what this is. This, I don't know what this is, but this, what is it? Like this? I used to think it was like this to be a satanic symbol. Like rock stars would always do this stuff. But then you see politicians doing this stuff as well. And then Donald Trump tells her to look up at Charlie, and then she does this to him. And I'm like, that sure feels occultic. I don't know, man. That's just a weird thing to do. I can get the she's humble about it or whatever, but to do that signal was kind of off-putting for me. It was kind of weird. And then Trump kept kissing her on both cheeks and hugging her, and it's like, he's the president of the United States. I get it. She used to be Miss America, or she used to be part of the pageant that he ran. You seeing a bit of a connection here? And it was kind of weird how she got married and all this stuff, because she was interviewed by Charlie for a job, and then he ended up dating her, and they got married. And in her speech, the only thing that she could say is, he served me. He would always ask me every single day, how can I serve you? I'm like, I don't know. I get it. Like, you have a husband and a wife and you say that amongst each other, but really, I don't know if I've ever said that to my wife. Like, how can I serve you? You just go and do it. You just you go take out the garbage, cut the grass, take whatever, like go wash your car, whatever, cook dinner, all that. You just do it. You don't day after day. How can I serve you? How can I serve you? It's weird. It would be weird if my wife said that to me every day. I probably like it, but it'd be weird, wouldn't it? To have your wife say that, wake up in the morning, blink, how can I serve you? Bacon and eggs. It's just weird, right? Like, am I missing something? It feels weird, right? It's off-putting. Can't quite put my finger on it. So I don't know. It felt kind of fakery, the funeral, a little bit, especially towards the end, like 5 hours. I get it, but there were so many strangers there at the funeral, and to me, I would think at my funeral, I would just want my closest friends and family. That's it. I don't want thousands of people, unless my subscribers maybe, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't want strangers there because you're crying and weeping and sharing personal, intimate stories. But they did this before the world. I don't know, man. It's a sad commentary if any of this is true. If any of this is true, and I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they all of a sudden show the footage and say, look, there is no trapdoor conspiracy. Here it is. Here's Charlie fall. Like, I don't need to see him, but I just need to see him fall down from a wide angle and see them pick him up. I don't want to see blurred images where he's hidden. Trapdoor opens up and then another person gets out and they put him into an SUV. That does mean nothing. That does mean nothing. I want to see uncut footage. And all we're getting is little pieces here and there from different angles. And they're like, there it is. Case closed. Walk away from this. It smells fishy. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Very, very strange. But that's all for tonight. That's all I have for you guys tonight. I hope you got something out of it. Make sure and subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you in another video for sure, Lord willing. If not, if we're in the air, let's look each other up in heaven, right? When we get raptured, whether it's today, tomorrow, a year from now, 10 years from now, whenever. Like, I don't know when my last day on the earth is, nor do I know when Jesus Christ is going to come for his church. I don't know. Those are two enigmas. And it's strange that we don't want to know when we decease, but we want to know when Jesus Christ, exactly the day. We want to know when he's coming. But yet when it comes to our death, we're like, no, we don't want to know. Well, isn't that kind of the same? Like, you're going to be in eternity. So why are you sad that you could be gone in a month? Let's just say it was painless, car accident, whatever it is. Why are we not wanting to see that? But we want to know the exact day that Jesus is coming for us. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. So, anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you guys. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and I will see you in another video. Bye for now.
Black Swan Revelations here on YouTube brought you today's mind-bending journey. Dive into the discussion, your comments, questions, prayer requests, and powerful testimonies of Jesus' love are what fuel this community. Did today's episode hit home? Smash that like button. New here? Subscribe and ring the notification bell so you never miss a live stream or a video upload. Thanks for being part of today's adventure. Catch you in the next video, or maybe even in the clouds. Stay curious, stay blessed.